Hey guys, welcome back to the kitchen. Today I have a mushroom packed recipe in partnership with Bia. This is my soy butter mushroom pasta. This is a pasta that is all about mushrooms. We're going to use a selection of different mushrooms. We're going to fry them off until they get great color, and then we're going to douse them in butter and soy sauce, this magic umami concoction that has heat from some chilies and plenty of garlic bite in there too. So to kick things off, I want to get my mushrooms cooked off. I've got a selection of nice different mushrooms, some shiitake, some oyster mushrooms, but then at the core of it, some nice chestnut mushrooms as well. So a rough chop on our chestnut mushrooms first, and then I'm just going to tear the rest in. But basically what you're looking for is some serious mushroom action that brings together this entire pasta. And the beautiful thing about mushrooms in general is just how versatile they are. Oftentimes when I'm leaving out meat in a recipe, mushrooms come to the rescue in order to kind of pack out and add that sort of meaty texture you're looking for. So I have the majority of these chopped up, and for the rest of them, I'm actually going to leave them whole. So we'll pop them all straight in there. Right, to kick things off, heat on a nice non-stick pan. We're going to get our first element of butter in here to fry off these mushrooms, and I just think mushrooms and butter are flavor friends. They work incredibly well. So a nice knob of butter in alongside some olive oil in the frying pan. So as soon as that butter starts to foam, we're gonna go straight in there with all those beautiful mushrooms. And what I love about using mushrooms in general is just how easy they are to prepare. It's literally a little shred or a knife or whatever you need to do just to kind of break them up. And then at this point, this is what's absolutely key to draw out that umami flavor, is a little bit of salt. And what I'm going to do is basically just press them down. And the temptation is, once they go in the pan, to stir them up loads. But actually what we're going to do is, once they are coated in plenty of that butter, is just press them down to kind of find contact with the base and the heat of that pan, and then allow them to kind of almost catch before we start stirring them. So it takes a minute or two, but don't be tempted to get in there and stir constantly, because in fact that will actually just create steam and you won't get that browning we're looking for. So keep the contact with the mushrooms on the pan, and only at the point that they start catching a little bit, that's when we're gonna stir. Now, while the mushrooms are gonna cook out, I'm gonna prepare my other ingredients. So I have some garlic, some chilies, and some spring onions. Now, as I'm slicing this up, I'm just looking for thin little slivers on the garlic that are going to cook out quite quickly. But as this is happening, I can smell my mushrooms, and you can see them starting to kind of sweat down ever so slightly. So at this point, I just want to start stirring them through and checking that they're getting that nice browning effect. So they're kind of getting there. You can see on one or two of them, they've gone really dark and deliciously golden brown. So again, give them a little swirl in the pan, leave them to sit again. Now, back to the garlic. Right, spring onions nicely sliced, trying not to get them all over the board. And at this point now, our mushrooms are almost there. So at this point, it's the time to get our pasta into a pot of boiling water. This is some pappardelle pasta, but like I said, use whatever pasta you fancy. This is going to cook quite quickly, so into the pot. So our pasta is cooking away. I'm going to push the mushrooms to the side. They're looking great at this point. And time to get back in the pan with just a touch more oil. Now we're going to fry this combination of spring onions, garlic, and chili in. And as soon as you get that in, just give them a little toss in the oil. You want to cook them out just until they become sort of fragrant and aromatic, which they already smell absolutely wonderful. It's the combination of the garlic and the chili in there that just really brings the mushrooms alive. So give them a stir through, and you're starting to get a bit of heat from the chili as well, wafting up my nose. Stir through the mushrooms at this point. We're starting to bring it all together. This is the core of this pasta dish, so getting this combination right is really worthwhile. Once you've stirred it through like this, And when that garlic is starting to almost turn a little bit golden, we're gonna get in there with more butter. Now this is where we create this umami packed sauce. So a generous amount of butter, straight into the heat. Now while that melts down, straight in with our soy sauce. So a tablespoon or two goes in. And then to amp up the umami, a little ingredient that I love to add is some oyster sauce. A little touch of that oyster sauce goes in, and then stir through the butter, the soy sauce, the oyster sauce. Let it melt into those ingredients and then start to bring in the mushrooms. Okay, we are exactly where we need to be. Glossy, umami-packed mushrooms that are just gonna be so meaty and delicious. In alongside this, time for the pasta. Okay, pasta is cooked at this point. Mushrooms are still sizzling on a low heat. We're gonna use some of that pasta water to create a really glossy coating for this pasta. So straight in, and as I'm working, you can see it's bringing in a little bit of that starchy pasta water, and it's that starchy pasta water mixed with our oyster sauce, mixed with our soy sauce, and mixed with that butter and all those beautiful mushrooms. That's gonna create a glossy, gorgeous pasta mix here. Okay, time to give it a toss. Now just look at that. Gorgeous glossy strands of pasta, all that umami bite from the mushrooms. And now I'm gonna do something that feels so wrong, but it's so right. Parmesan cheese grated over the top. This is like a proper late night fix. I'm gonna turn off the heat now, and the last finishing touch is a little bit of chopped chives to finish this in the dish, and we are good to taste. Final finishing touches of some chives, and now it is time to dig in and try all that meaty mushroom deliciousness. There is spice, there's heat, there's saltiness, and there's so much texture from that lovely mushroom mix. Really gorgeous combination of both soy sauce and butter to give you this silky coating on the pasta that just works so well. As always, if you want the full recipe, the updated recipe, you can check it out in the box below. It's over on my website and it's in the description box. Of course, leave me a comment letting me know if you're gonna try this meaty mushroom dish. And as always, if you wanna know when recipes land here first, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Right, I'm off to eat the rest of this, so I'll see you soon.